Today we're going to be doing an Ergo review, so I'll be kind of ignoring chat for a bit. We're going to be looking at QRXUOW. From now we're going to call him just QR. He plays games, experiencing some pain. The pain that he's experiencing, whoopsies, I'm just gonna punch the microphones. The pain he's experiencing is the nerve in his elbow and tingling in his outer fingers, the pinky and the ring finger. He is 174 centimeters. Let's look at some pictures here. So this is his setup. He is 174 centimeters. Let's talk about his symptoms. And then I'm gonna play the video. So let's look at his desk really quick. This information isn't particularly helpful. The video is the most helpful thing by far. So we're gonna show that in a second, but his symptoms are neck pain during long 12-hour sessions. He has back pain, and it's in his mid right shoulder. And by the way, did you respond? Yes, you did respond. He has back pain in his mid right shoulder. And by the way, QR, can you explain in the mid right shoulder? Do you mean like it's in your shoulder blade on the back side? Or do you mean like it's in the socket where like the humerus or the arm bone plugs into your shoulder socket? Like, is it inside the socket here, or is it back in the middle of the shoulder blade? Okay, now back to his picture. So this is setup. All right, let's play the video. We're playing this over and over. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna bring this up on something that will auto repeat. There we go. Okay, this will auto repeat. All right, so let me mute this. So take a look at this, and just watch this video. In chat, feel free to mention if you see anything. Let's just make this fun. Let's not be judgmental dicks, but if you spot something, feel free to point out any issues. So he has neck pain. He plays long 12-hour sessions. Back pain, mid right shoulder, ulnar nerve entrapment on the left side. Basically, again, the nerve pain he's feeling on his elbow down here, and also numbness in pinky and ring finger, and sometimes, especially on the left, my whole arm goes numb from the elbow down to the fingers. Right hand numbness and tingling after long sessions. Left hand is arm numb. Okay, already talked about that. Okay, so what do you guys see? Bingo. Yep, a lot of you guys are getting it right. Screen is too low. Desk is too high, 100%. That is a lot of the problems right there. The screen should be lifted a little bit, not a lot. Just a little bit. So like, let's look at this picture over here. So look at this over here. It appears like his eyes are close to the top edge of the monitor, which is kind of what he's going for. I would raise it just a little bit. So depending on how far the monitor is from you and how big the monitor is, this advice will vary. But generally speaking, the eyes should be level with either the top edge of the monitor or somewhere in the top 1/3. That's a, take it with a grain of salt. Like, you could actually have your eyes towards the middle if you want. The main thing to watch out for, if your eyes are towards the middle or if your eyes are too low, this is the problem. Okay, so if your monitor is too high, right? Okay, just ignore the rest of my body. Just look at the neck only. If my monitor is too high, I'm at risk for looking up like this. This is what you want to avoid. Extension on the neck where you're looking up is risky, and it's likely to cause neck strain. Versus straight forward or slightly down is neutral, right? These are neutral positions for the neck. Straight forward, slightly down. Okay, don't go like super deep stretch, and don't go into slight extension. This is a problem that I had for a while. Okay, so raise the monitor a little bit. Yes, definitely. We're not going in order of most important to least important. We're just asking people. I'm a little bit sick right now. Might be coronavirus, who knows? Raise it for the monitor. Raise it perhaps by a stack of paper or so. Because you're gaming and you probably care about everything, get your monitor to be as high as it needs to be so that you don't feel compelled to like look down and kind of like tilt forward. We're trying to stop that behavior, right? Because that's a major problem. You are tilting forward right here, right? The neck is not is tilting forward a little bit. You're kind of like falling forward. Not a huge deal. There's other stuff much more important to focus on that we're gonna get to, but that is one thing. Yes, monitor is a little bit higher. Bring it as close as it needs to be, such that you aren't turning sideways like this. You're not forcing yourself to turn sideways, and bring it close enough such that you don't feel the subconscious urge to lean forward. Okay, pull up an article or something to read on the screen and make it like normal text size, like 100% text size. Do you feel compelled to kind of lean forward and look at the monitor? If you do, then the monitor is probably too far away, and that's something to think about here. So is this monitor too far away? Probably not. It's also awareness too, right? Awareness to bring yourself back, okay? Now, that's pretty much all I'd say about the monitor, and this is again I would say a less important thing. There's bigger things here to focus on. Let me see what else people said. Elbows flare too far, bingo. Chair too low, desk too high, 100%. That is by far the biggest source of all those problems. Raise the chair first, then adjust the screen level. True. I left out a thing. I left out a key detail. His chair is already at the max height, he says. The chair being at the max height, and he is 174 centimeters or 5'8". That's strange. That says to me this desk might be an unusually high desk. Regardless, there's solutions for this, because he's not like, if he was like 5'2", or I don't know, someone convert that to sensible metric units, like I don't know, if you're like 165 centimeters, if you're like 165, 162 centimeters QR, then I could understand your desire to bring your elbows up like this on the table, because you're just too short, right? 163 is 5'4". Okay, pretty good. Close enough. Close enough. Okay, so here's the real problem with this. Actually, I need you to back out of the way. Sorry, you came in the perfectly wrong time. Okay, that camera, that's the problem. You're blocking the camera. Just scoot over slightly. So QR, analyze your chair. I suspect it should be able to go higher than it actually is. All right, so ignore what the rest of my body is doing. Just pay attention to like from my elbows up. Okay, that's what I want you to look at. All right. Ideally, your elbows should be basically, okay, the elbow angle should basically be like 90 degrees. Your elbows should basically be at your side. If you want to flare them out a little bit, somewhere between 0 to 20 degrees is fine. I prefer 0. I feel the best at 0 degrees. But 10, 20 degrees, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so keep it around here. And then for elbows, elbow angle at 90 degrees or greater. You don't want tighter elbows, okay? So compare this, right? This is like, I'm typing, use the computer, blah, 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 I'm a robot. And now, this is what he is basically doing. Okay, actually, let me just get in position. Let me just tilt this ever so slightly. It's a little bit easier to see my setup. Okay, watch. This is a good height, right? My thing is very, very adjustable. So, right, look at how I am here. Look how I'm typing. Oh, you can't see it there. I'm right hand thing with some.
Hillington Cart.
So, you can see here, right? I'm typing. Things look relaxed. This is basically what he is doing. My keyboard and mouse pretend it's further forward, but this is essentially what he's doing. In fact, the elbows would be on the table. This is hard for me, even hard for me to do. It's too much stuff on my desk. This is essentially what he's doing, QR. So your elbows are up like this. You are getting like a 30 degree, 45 degree angle for your elbows up, and also putting a lot of pressure on your elbow because it is is resting there on a hard surface, right? Okay, let's keep going. So the neck pain, a lot of that's gonna go away if you adjust your monitors, like we said. Back pain, mid right shoulder. I think a lot of your issues are gonna be fixed if you can get your elbows to your side, shoulders back. Now, this is one of the problems with the gaming chairs. you have a typical gaming chair here, right? It's got the flared wings design, the racer chair, the racer gaming chair. This is the problem with these chairs. They have the winged areas up by the shoulders. They look super cool. Oh man. But let me turn the music down. But the other problem is they tend to force your shoulders forward. So if you're a bigger person with broad shoulders like me, it's hard to get my shoulders back or relax. It is likely that they're gonna push my shoulders forward. It's one of the reasons why I like the LF gaming chairs, all that stupid shit in the way. So, exclamation mark LF gaming, if you guys are interested. I have a video on the YouTubes where I talk about some of these things. But anyway, back to the video and stuff. Let me pull this up. So, the real solution is basically get the desk lower or get the chair higher. So the chair is locked, the desk is locked. So what's the next solution? Keyboard tray. So QR, if you had a keyboard tray, you can basically have a under the desk keyboard tray. It would install here, and then that way it lowers the keyboard and mouse to be it basically be lower, and then it's gonna be you'll end up sitting back further from the desk, so your elbows. Probably consider removing the armrests if they're not at the right height. If your armrests are too high where it forces your elbows out, or it's putting pressure on there, just fucking get rid of the armrest. Because you're getting that nerve pain from the pressure on your elbow, I would just take out all nerve pressure there and just float your elbows, man. Armrests are a double-edged sword. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I alternate between using armrests versus floating. So get rid of the armrests. Get those out of the way. Get the keyboard tray. But you already mentioned you changed desks earlier, but I would get a keyboard tray and install that underneath so that you can lower things to a proper height, and then adjust your monitor like we mentioned earlier to either raise it, get it closer, whatever you got to do there, and be more mindful of your neck position so you're not leaning forward too much. Okay, so let's continue here. Let me see what else there is. Okay, what else I want to say about your situation? Another option too is a seat cushion. If you get a seat cushion underneath your butt, a nice thick, like firm one that will elevate you by like another inch or two, or like, you know, like a couple centimeters. If it elevates you by a couple centimeters, that might partially help this problem. I still think a keyboard tray is going to be the best solution here. And of course, I would slide your equipment back a little bit. There's one more thing to talk about. Okay? There's one more thing. Watch this at the end for his wrist. Honey, you can come back now. I'm done using that side camera. Look at how he is mousing. Very carefully. This is very key. This is why I asked for the video, because this gives this gives a lot of very good information if I see what you're doing on a normal basis, on a normal activity. What's going on here, guys? You guys see? Right wrist also hurts. What's he doing? He's doing a lot of deviation, a lot of ulnar and radial deviation, which is basically like flicking the wrist, right? This is radial deviation. Sorry, I shouldn't move anything else. This is ulnar deviation. This is radial. It's hard to do it. Radial deviation. We can't deviate radially, or the direction of the thumb. We can't do it very much. Ulnar deviation we can do a bit, but the human hands, we can deviate, we can flex, we can extend the elbows, we can move our elbows out, we can fire our elbows out, right? The problem is when you're doing only that and you're doing it a lot repetitively under load, these are an issue. So doing some deviation is fine, but you're starting to get wrist pain, and I feel like this is gonna be the #1 place I would look. How do you solve this? Makalito said tape your wrist so it moves with your forearm. Well, that is a good solution. It's gonna fix his problems. That's not really the solution here, because it's not practical, right? He's gonna hate gaming with that. I think the best solutions do a mixture of everything. Increase sensitivity as high as you can before it starts really negatively impacting your gameplay. That's one. I would try to be more mindful of the wrist flicking and minimize how much you're doing deviation. And also, I would try to use, as people said, try to use more of your elbow as you're moving around and as you're like mousing and stuff. Use more elbow movement. So you're mousing, you're doing a bit of everything. Try to mix it around. Try to decrease the necessity, the need to use your deviation. Okay. The last thing I'm gonna say is exclamation mark 1HP. 1HP gamer. He specializes in physical therapy for these types of injuries. So all I'm very good at is just identifying the problems in your setup, and I can tell you what to fix. So that way the source of the pain hopefully stops. He will be good at recovery and strengthening for these types of injuries. So go check him out. 1HP. He's a really good resource for this stuff. His name is Matt. Nice guy. So anyway, QR, also update from QR, because I told him about this yesterday. I had him send me all the stuff to make sure I had everything. And I asked him, I gave him the bullet points of, okay, you need to fix XYZ. And so he said today, he was thinking of playing again since your tips already cured my main issue. That's what I'm talking about already. Noticeable improvements right away, right? That's what we're talking about. These are the types of things that people should be looking for. Is if you're not noticing any improvements after weeks or months, definitely change what you're doing. Hopefully you notice something very quickly. He doesn't get numbness on his left arm anymore. At all anymore, but right now my right arm is still feeling kind of weird, but it's okay. I would still highly consider giving yourself a break, QR. It takes a while for joints and nerves to kind of calm down. I would cut your gaming sessions to be much shorter. I would, like you mentioned, switch over to a console or a controller game for a little bit if you must play games. Do controller stuff for a little bit. Again, keep the elbows at your side. If you like the content, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Also, follow us on Twitch and leave the notifications on. Feed your brain, feed your body, and see you next time.